What is going on, y'all? It's your boy VeLL, and we are back with another Mobile Legends video. We're doing a top 10 strongest tanks in the game right now. We've been doing this series, we've been doing all the different roles and stuff like that, and you all wanted to know some of the tanks that I think are very valuable in the meta and some of the ones that can still be used. So yeah, that's what we're going to be going over. In the comment section down below, write which tanks you think are the strongest and which are your favorite tanks to use. I know that some people are going to have some different opinions and stuff like that, but yeah, just write how you use your different tanks and stuff like that, especially if you use a weird tank that as you think is probably not meta but you can make it work. Let us know how you do that in the comment section down below. Also, let's see if we can get this video to 1,000 likes, man. I loved all the support and the love that you all have been showing, and I definitely appreciate it. So yeah, let's run it up, man. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Some of these heroes are obvious, you're going to expect them to be on here. Some may not be so obvious, and you might not see some of the heroes that you want to see on this list. So yeah, we're just going to be going over the 10 that I think are the best. Like I said, everyone's opinion is different. I'm going to give you my list and my reasons behind it, but yeah, I might forget something, so let me know in the comment section down below. But anyway, let's jump into it. Starting out, we did one recently where he was on the top of this list as well, but Atlas is the new tank in Mobile Legends, and he's pretty much the strongest one right now. He's really unstoppable. He can grab a whole team and put them like all together and make them just easy kills for your team. So if you time Atlas abilities perfectly, then he's pretty much unstoppable, and he can set up the his team for just a whole squad wipe quite easily, especially if you have a bunch of teammates who do damage. Like one of the combos that one of my homies like with him, Jake, he likes to use Atlas combined with Farsa. That's absolutely disgusting. You know how Farsa does that ability and it just like drops down in one spot. So when Atlas grabs everybody, you just spam with Farsa. Another good hero that would work with Atlas is Kadita. Like all that burst damage, if you just like anything where he groups them all together and then some hero just bursts that entire group, those type of combos are actually insane with this hero. So yeah, Atlas actually brings certain heroes into the meta. Now Kadita has not been too far out of the meta. Like Kadita has always been a okay, decent pick, never really a top tier pick, I don't think, but Kadita has always just been decent. But with combos like Atlas really brings out the best in a hero like Kadita with that huge burst damage and stuff. So yeah, like that's what I like about this new hero Atlas. He can bring different heroes that's maybe not meta into the meta and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely had to throw Atlas on here. Next, we have Khufra. He's one of the strongest heroes. He's always been one of the strongest heroes. The way that I like him played is just really like pure aggression. Setting up, ambushing, never seen. Like when you're playing Khufra, in my opinion, you should always be hidden. This is honestly when you're playing any tank, you should always be hidden. One of the biggest tips I want to give you all about the tank role is don't just always be out there helping your marksman hit minions and stuff like that, or helping your teammates clear minions and waves. Let the enemies think that whoever's out there clearing waves is by theirself. Hide in a nearby bush along the path where the enemies would have to walk to get to whoever you're protecting, and just hide there. That way they go and they try to attack somebody who they think are by themselves. Then you just jump out of a bush, set them up with an ultimate, turn into a ball so they can't really move, and then whoever was like clearing the wave can just get a bunch of free kills because you caught them off guard. That's how the tank role should be played with pretty much any tank, but it's super effective with Khufra because of his ability to stop people from escaping once he does it. So a good Khufra always hiding in the right spot. He's impossible to escape, you can't evade that, and there's really not much you can do about it. So yeah, like Khufra. Next, we have Croc. Croc is one of the strongest in the game because of his ability to allow his team to farm fast, rotate fast, and push lanes fast. I think that's one of the most valuable things in Mobile Legends is farming fast, getting ahead of your teammates, getting ahead of your enemies. That way your teammates have the advantage, and your teammates can basically just snowball the game and just get a pretty easy win, honestly. So I think that that's one of the things that Croc provides. He provides an ability to farm way faster than the other team. Like if you all are playing correctly with Croc and pretty much any like mid laner or any marksman, then Croc should definitely, you all should get fed before the enemy team. So and also he can be used to bring a marksman that's not necessarily heavy in the meta or not one of the best picks in the meta and bring them into the meta fast. Like using Hanabi with Croc, because he clears waves so fast, and especially early game Hanabi doesn't have much damage. He can he can clear the wave almost by himself, and then Hanabi can get the last hits and farm very much faster. She can farm at the same pace as another marksman as long as she has a Croc. So basically you won't be ahead using Hanabi, but you will be even, as opposed to if you use Hanabi with any other tank, you just won't clear lanes as fast, and you're going to be a little behind the other team's marksman for a while, unless they choose a late farming marksman as well. So yeah, consider that. Think about that. This is why certain heroes can really change what other type of heroes can be used, because yeah, like a tank like Croc can really bring Hanabi to the top of the meta right now if used properly, and people don't know that. People don't think like that. So certain heroes can really impact other heroes. So hero synergy is something that we're going to be talking about in a future video or something, because I haven't made one of those videos in years. But yeah, it's very, very crucial in Mobile Legends. Next, we have Lolita. Lolita is another one where hiding from a bush, she's pretty much unstoppable. If you ult from a bush and flicker from a bush, it's insane. Also, if you just use your first ability and dive on someone and stun them, it's insane as well. Pretty much Lolita is very, very tanky. She provides some type of sustainability for whoever she's laning with, and really she has a lot of stuns. She has a lot of CC. Her first ability and her ultimate is just CC, and then she has a shield to block certain types of skills, certain projectiles and things like that. So yeah, Lolita is really, really strong right now. I think she's consistently been strong since her release. I don't think that she's one of the flashiest tanks, which is why she's not necessarily picked all the time over certain other tanks. And yeah, I would pick Atlas, Kufra, and Croc over Lolita. So this is actually kind of in order. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on Lolita. Really good. But yeah, next we have HighLow. HighLow is actually a really, really strong tank. I know some people kind of sleep on the value of HighLow. They don't like, because he is easily countered by some heroes, and that's what I mean by be careful who you pick and when you pick them. Because if the enemy team has a Valier and you use HighLow, you pretty much just have a useless tank, because HighLow should not be able to get close to a team with Valier at all, which means that your tank is just going to be useless unless you really are hiding in bushes and you catch Valier off guard and take him out first. So yeah, I mean, it's really hard to go against a HighLow, and a good HighLow player could do that, just constantly catch Valier off guard and counter the fact that he's countered. But that's going to come down to skill, having more skill than a player you're playing against, because if you all are at the exact same level or that player is above you, then it's just game over. So yeah, HighLow I think is really, really strong. HighLow is a very good counter to Croc. And yeah, I mean, HighLow is a decent hero. Now, these last 5 tanks, these are not necessarily, I wouldn't say top of the meta tanks in my opinion. I don't think that there's really any more tanks that's just super high up in the meta right now. But these are really, really solid picks as well in their situations. So we have Franco. Franco is very good at countering heroes like Ling, Gaijin, any hero that has to really dive in and try to do damage, or who can really move super fast, like even Natalia. Natalia comes up, gets ulted by Franco, and then can't go invisible, can't really move or do anything for a while. I think that Franco's ultimate is just really, really good. It's really good for countering certain heroes that's super, super dangerous. Though in this meta, we focus more so on the marksman, so him being able to counter assassins and stuff like that really isn't as critical. But also in this meta, outside of marksman, assassins are really strong as well. So I mean, using him as some type of like secondary tank would still be good. You having a regular tank and then having a Franco that can actually land hooks and actually be used to counter, actually good enough to counter some things. Yeah, Franco could actually be an unstoppable pick in this meta, because assassins are so strong in this meta right now. So yeah, so we have Franco. Next we have Bellary. Bellary is a solid tank. Bellary is solid. I just don't like his like how easy his ult is to evade. Like, you pretty much can easily evade a Bellary ult, and it's just, I don't think that he's too effective for that reason. But he can be effective. He hit his ult at the right times where the enemies aren't prepared to evade it or don't see it coming and stuff like that. Like, really at the right times and in the right positions, Bellary can be a huge game changer. But at the same time, I think his ult is easy to escape, very easy to escape. So yeah, Bellary is a decent tank in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think he's like super OP or anything. It was a time where he was really top tier and played a lot, but I don't really see him as much. I think that all the other tanks that we've mentioned so far are just much more valuable in many more situations. So yeah, it really depends on the situations that you find yourself in. And in this meta, it's so much mobility. The marksmen are longer range, so they don't have to get too close. Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to make a Bellary pick work under a lot of circumstances. Next, we have Backsia. Backsia is really strong right now, and it's very situational. Like, I think that you really have to be good with Backsia to really get the full value of the hero. Backsia is one of those situational heroes where the hero can work if you're really good at using that hero and using the hero properly. Like, you have to know how to take on other teams and stuff. You have to know what positions you need to be on, what positions you need to be in. You have to know when and how you're supposed to properly rotate when you're using this hero. This isn't just a tank that you can just pick up and is going to be able to take on a meta tank and a meta team and stuff like that, because you will have a hard time if you don't know how to play this hero at expert level. So Backsia is a pick that can work, but it takes a lot of skill to make that Backsia pick work. So yeah, just had to throw Backsia on this list because I know that you really OP Backsia players, you can make the pick work sometimes. But yeah, it's a talent to be able to do that. Next, we have Tigre. Now, Tigre is a decent tank. Ever since his ultimate got nerfed, he hasn't been heavy in the meta. Like, I feel like the old Tigre would be just way better. Like, the old Tigre before they nerfed the speed of his ultimate to allow time to escape. Because if you don't know, Tigre got nerfed a few years ago, because it used to be when he hits his ultimate, you're just sucked in instantly. Now they made it a little bit slower, so people have a little bit of time to escape. Now with all this high mobility and high movement and all these counters and stuff like that, I think that that little amount of time makes him a little too easy to evade for all the new heroes we have with super high mobility. So I think that honestly they need to reverse the nerf that they made to him, and Tigre would honestly be a beast. But even with his ultimate, you flicker out of somewhere unexpected, ult the enemy team, and then push him towards your team. That's still a very effective strategy, and it's still very strong. So yeah, Tigre can work if all the other tanks are banned and stuff like that, or some other tanks are used. He's a tank that can work. He's another one that you really have to play properly though. You really have to play properly. There are tankier tanks and there are more valuable tanks to your team, but you can make the Tigre pick work if you're a really good tank player. So yeah. Last but not least, we have Johnson. Johnson is one of those picks where it can be hit or miss, because depending on how the tank plays, he's going to just be driving around the map the whole time. Like, when you're using Johnson, you have to ult and be in the proper situations at the proper times. Like, I hate those Johnson players who will literally just drive around the map the whole game and avoid helping us actually push up lanes or initiate engagements and stuff like that. Anytime Johnson ults, like, you all should be ready to attack, or he should ult at times where everyone is ready to attack and move together to secure a kill, because when Johnson hits somebody, that should be a secured kill. So Johnson should be ulting at the right times to really set up the team for the best results when it comes down to a clash. So most Johnsons I see just drive really good, and they just drive around showing off their driving and stuff like that, and by the time they're finished going around the map, their whole team then got wiped because the team is fighting without a tank, because yeah, whatever route he's zooming through, doing a bunch of tricky spins and stuff through the route, it just takes too long to get back to your team, and in that amount of time the enemies just wipe the team. It's like, it happens so frequently when you see Johnson. That's why I'm not really a fan of that pick. And also, Johnson can't really protect whoever he's laning with. So it's, unless you have like really strong skill where you hit that first ability stun, like somebody tries to dive your marksman and you actually land the stun on them and stuff like that, like, which is very rare for Johnson players. But I have seen some super OP Johnson players who's capable of doing that, like constantly landing a stun and stopping people from diving their ADC. So I mean, it comes down, most heroes comes down to the players, but yeah, Johnson is really solid if you are really good with him, and if you're not making mistakes and not making bad decisions. So yeah, that's the tanks that I have here. A few honorable mentions, maybe like Gatot Kacha. I've seen some really strong Gatot players and stuff as well. I think that he can be viable. He can be a little bit more viable if you're really good with him, but it's I feel like there's better tanks. Like usually the tanks that's good with the players that's good with Gatai are it's just the players that's good. It's not necessarily the hero. Uranus is obviously not on this list because I consider him more of a fighter. He's a tanky. I consider him more of a tanky fighter and a solo laner. He should not be playing the game the way that a tank would play the game. So using him as a tank would just really put your team at a disadvantage in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video, found it helpful. If you did, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to write your thoughts down in the comment section below, man. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'll catch you all on the next one, fam. Peace out, y'all.
I don't know nobody, so don't ask for no favors. Don't ask for no paper, they leave when you losing, but they coming back later. Promise they coming back later. I'm up now, she wanna